Hello and welcome to White Space, the weekly show where we talk about the news of the data center industry. Yes, so I started this week with a trip to HPE Discover.
How was that?
Interesting. It was a bigger show than I expected. There was some infrastructure hip-hop. That's how the opening keynote opened.
I don't know it to be. That sounds terrifying.
If you're interested, you can check it out on Twitter. It's a bit cringeworthy. Also made a whole bunch of news announcements, and I'm just going to talk about the most interesting ones. So first, Cloud 28. Cloud 28 is sort of like HPE getting a bunch of people who base their clouds on Helium or often services compatible with Helium, link them all together, and essentially the original idea was you've got 28 countries of the European Union. Regulation is slightly different everywhere, and sort of like, people want to place their stuff in different geographies. So this is a single marketplace. You go there, you pick a service, and it finds like the most suitable service provider for you.
Until it's spun off.
No. This one is not spun off. It's interesting. They plan to spun it off as an independent organization with its own board, but it looks like that is not happening anymore. But what is interesting, so they trialed that in Europe. It's called Cloud 28 after the 28 states of European Union, but now they're expanding it worldwide. It's still called Cloud 28, but now global. At the same time, HPE has showed us some of the machine.
Oh yeah.
Yes, so they're better. It's getting a little bit clearer, but not by much. So, like the way I understand it, and this is what essentially you wrote previously, is the machine is more of a research project. So, technology is developed for the machine is going to appear in normal, actual servers. There is never going to be a product called the machine.
There might be. They don't know. They want people to think that because it looks great for marketing to have this spooky machine that appears in Star Trek and changes the future and everything, but. Yeah, I don't think that's happening. Yeah,
exactly. There's a lot of marketing in there. But they did build an actual physical box. It's twice the size of a normal sort of like data center server in terms of depth. So you can put them in racks, but it looks weird. And they're built all around memory. So like each of those servers carries terabytes of memory. They're linked together into something they call a memory fabric. Memory is plugged in into optical fiber. And so different servers can use the entire memory bank. It's not just like, like a bank of memory per server. And yes, so according to HPE, this allows you to do some workloads up to 8,000 times quicker.
Well, I mean, we're looking forward to other people having it.
It's not an official benchmark, and it's not an official product, but it's interesting to see that, this thing is out there and it does all these crazy things.
I don't want to be too negative because it is good to see someone try something different, to take an architecture and say, let's flip it. But at the same time, I'm also aware of marketing spin.
Vaporware.
Yeah. So, prove us wrong. If you want to bring a display copy here, we'll fiddle with it. I'm up for that, but watch this space, I guess.
Yeah. We also got some pretty good contacts with the researchers within the HPE labs, so we're gonna keep watching that. Meanwhile, a bunch of American companies are struggling with Chinese legislation.
Yeah, I mean, surprise. But so, as everyone who's been following these kind of laws, the whole world is becoming very just let's legalize surveillance, legalize data residency, and it's kind of a competition of who can do it worse. And China seems to be in the lead because China has decided not only keep data within the country, also hand over all your source code so that we can check it to see if can be hacked. But mainly, obviously there's the Snowden revelations. They think there's going to be backdoors, which you have other countries saying you need to put backdoors in. So it's I feel sorry for these companies because they've been told by one country put in backdoors, another country let's see all your source code for backdoors so we can put in backdoors. Obviously these companies are now trying to get China to change, but China is the one with a massive market who can say, well, you don't have to be here, we have our own companies.
So who has challenged this
Microsoft, IBM and Intel, a couple others, but they've said, please can you do something about this, can you change it? And so far the Chinese have said, what was that? Oh, we've got our own. So, yeah, and it's interesting because you have those existing Chinese companies are now telling to other countries like Russia. So again, if you've been following laws in the kind of global political sphere at the moment, there's a lot of sanctions against Russia from the West, but not from China. So Russia wants to have a lot of data residency laws and saying, store a lot of metadata here in this country. So they've gone, well, who can we turn to that can build a lot of architecture and build out this stuff? Huawei, made in Lenovo. And who's in that filter can we turn and use for surveillance? Oh, China. So you're kind of seeing a very close partnership between those two countries.
So like the weird digital block.
Yeah. So you can have this kind of stratification of the internet. In Britain, of course, this week we also had the investor powers bill, Snooper charters come through.
Horrible thing.
Horrible thing, but we'll need a lot of storage, so who will we turn to for that? It'll be quite interesting.
While we're talking about the cloud, Amazon had its big re:Invent show this week, and one of the most interesting announcements there, which I think is going to be, it sets a precedent, and I think this is, they were some of the first in the industry, but this is more or less going to become the rule. Amazon Web Services is going to offer its customers free DDoS protection. So yes, a couple of months ago there was this major attack, Mirai botnet, used a bunch of cameras, linked them together, took down a lot of popular online services, including Spotify, Netflix, exactly, yes. And AWS, interestingly. So now they're offering AWS Shield. There are two levels to AWS Shield, basic and advanced. And basic AWS Shield applies to everyone. And according to Amazon, it's going to stop 96% of DDoS attacks. The simplest, the sort of like the ones script kiddies love to use. So you know, like you're going to be guaranteed a basic level of protection. If you run something contentious, you know, like you get hit by DDoS a lot, there's an advanced level. I mean, that's a subscription. You have to take it for at least a year. So you can't be like, oh my God, we're being attacked. Let's buy some protection.
So it's more insurance.
And yes, it sort of like it uses more advanced tools. You also get like 24/7 help from Amazon's own anti-DDoS team.
Oh, nice.
And it sounds like a good deal.
What I find funny is Amazon.com is selling a lot of Internet of Things devices that have questionable security methods.
It also sells protection.
Yeah, so you know. Anyway.
Yes. And Google also has Project Shield, which also protects against DDoS.
Yeah.
But Project Shield is not available to anyone, right?
Yeah, so Project Shield is part of the Jigsaw subsidiary of Alphabet, and it's more for journalists, non-profits and so on that are more likely to be targeted by maybe political actors or companies with axes to grind. And it's free, again, completely free, but yeah, you have to have kind of positive benefit to the world to get it. And speaking of things going offline and going down, our viewers in Channel Islands might be wondering why it's buffering quite a lot, because they don't have very good internet anymore. A ship, we might be the King Arthur ship, dropped its anchor in protected waters where it shouldn't have dropped its anchor, we don't know why, and cut out 4 or more submarine cables.
What?
Yeah, just knocked them off.
4 at once?
Well, see, the problem is in our feature on submarine cables, they often have these kind of predefined cable corridors, and on the advantages, it means it's a lot easier to get the planning permission to put them down. It makes it easier from shipping to have only a small area you're not meant to drop your anchor. But the disadvantage is, as people know, if you put lots of things together and then someone drops an anchor there, things don't go well. Luckily, there was a route from France, so they do have internet, but it's not very good. And the seas there are quite choppy, so it might be difficult to fix it, but that should be quite cool to watch.
And for our news in brief section, Sebastian is going to try to squeeze as much information in as little time as possible.
Unfortunately, it won't be in corporate rap form, but it will be as fast as possible. Amazon Network Power has become converted, so it's happened. They've officially fully sold the platinum equity, although Emerson still owns a tiny bit of them. They have a new CEO, Rob Johnson. Then you've got Cyrus One building a new data center in Chicago. Cologix might be up for sale.
What's the price they're looking at?
1.25 billion is the rumor, according to Wall Street Journal. Do you have any you up for?
I don't have any spare cash, no.
The BT have opened a data center in Belfast for the government. They might be opening a few more. Seems like they've signed a nice big long contract. West Bengal State is getting a data center as well, because they have a whole, for the last decade, they've been trying to move the whole government across India online, but there's a lot of government in India. US Army have broken ground in a cyber command headquarters. Very terrifying. All good, you know. Yeah,
See the video if you can. It's great.
It's naff. It's lovely, don't hack us. Alibaba Cloud have launched in Sydney. They've been launching outside of China, coming out. The question is, are they ready to take on the rest of the world, or just as China's obviously got its own cybersecurity stuff, so that they're happy in their own playground? Let's welcome to the rest of the world and see how that goes.
Yes, but they're not building their own data centers.
No.
Point of note, it's actually other people's. It's more like points of presence, but it could grow in the future.
Yeah, it's maybe building block. We'll see where it goes. And yeah, I think that's the news for today. But obviously, there's more on the site, 24/7.
And some of these stories are covered in the new edition of the Data Center Dynamics magazine, which should be coming to your desks right about now.
And then shout out to our graphic design team, who just beautiful cover.
It's a masterpiece.
Love it.
Yes.
Pia looking very afraid. It's great.
Well, that's it for this week. We're probably going to see you next week. So, yes, stay safe and build data centers.
Be careful what you Google.